Well, hello everyone.
Oh, are we on?
Yeah.
Oh, hello everyone.
Hope everyone's doing well. Welcome to the Delia and Aneeta show. Todd will be with us shortly.
Yeah, he's looking for his bum.
Hope everyone is doing well and treating you all with good energy. I know we're all getting blasted. Sending you so much love to everybody.
Yes, we are. We are.
So I hope everybody is doing well. As you can see, we're together.
Yes, we are.
We actually didn't know that we lived an hour away from each other.
Yeah, all this time we didn't know, and here we are together. Let's see, who do we have? We've got Robert. Hi, Robert. Jamie. Allison.
So it's been interesting.
There he is. There's our brother.
Let me get this peppermint out of my mouth. So we started having a conversation which violates all the rules. Not that there are any rules. The normal pattern of Soul Speaks 5D. We don't talk before the show, and that because when you start talking, those are the best moments.
Yeah.
So you were saying that you've been going to sleep and really late and staying up.
Yeah, I've been going to sleep around 5:30. I mean, falling asleep like between 5:30 and 6:30.
Wow. So hardly any sleep.
And then what happens is, except last night I slept pretty good, but I'd say probably the other 13 of the last 14 nights, I wake up after an hour and a half and I feel like it's been 8 hours.
I've been experiencing that too. Sometimes
and then you look at the clock and you're like, holy shit, no way.
Yeah.
You know, and then I'm up for a little bit and then I go back to bed and the same thing happens.
Yeah.
So I feel like my body is lit up more and more every day, just lit up, like full of energy, like full of information, full of code. I don't know what to do with it. Just kind of sitting with it. How about y'all?
It's buzzing. Yeah. We just had a conversation about that. Even yesterday, because I was working and I was listening to the lives, there was at one point that I had to look down and I felt like everything shook. The energy was vibrating and I thought, oh my God, we're having an earthquake. But then I look up and everybody is not reacting. And I was like, oh shit, this is the energy.
Yeah.
This is exactly.
I've had that happen. I thought exactly the same thing twice. Since I've been back from Sedona. And I thought it felt like an earthquake. You know what I mean? I was laying on the couch and it just, and then I've had probably about 3 or 4 times where a part of my body, I think one time it was my left arm, and then the other 3 times it was my right leg. And it did the same thing, but it was all internal, right? It was like it wasn't electrical. It was beyond electrical and started vibrating. Yeah. So I don't know. Just keep putting this shit out there.
But see, this is the thing. This is what's making it part of this whole shift. It's like, hey, you're not going crazy. You're not going crazy at all, because it is happening to a lot of us. And just having that conversation since me, Aneeta, and our dearest East Coast sister is feeling it too. Yeah. And the East whole Coast. Synchronicity. Yeah.
She's big eating all her Tupac. East Coast, West Coast.
It's all magnified since we came back from Sedona. I mean, it's indescribable. It's constant. It's constant.
It is constant.
Yeah.
And we're doing even work in dream state, etheric work together. And we were like, hey, this was going on. And then I tell her about the dream. And she's like, oh, I had this happen. And you had to call me back in. And I was like, that's exactly what I was doing in mine.
Yeah.
So there's no coincidences in that, in the etheric work that we're doing in dream state.
No.
The overlap, it's like uncanny. And it's just when we talk about what's going on and we communicate, you're like, yeah, that makes sense. This is what I was experiencing.
Yeah. Yeah, and where are you at with trying to make sense of any of it? Because I'm like, fuck this shit.
You can't make
I'm just
sense of it, can you? You just
uh,
experience it and you flow through it, and that's it. The only thing I know is that I don't know anything.
yeah.
I don't know anything.
It feels like, and I'm trying, and I'm actually consciously, um, you know, feeling into it, like I'm in dimension, like I'm in dream state or lucid dream, and I'm trying to hang on to that. And these tones that come in kind of help me do that, I guess, in a way. And I don't know, the atmosphere when you're in a dream, like what in a dream, what are you aware of? You're aware of the room that you're in, and that's pretty much it, and everything that it offers, because it offers so much. And it's that kind of I'm giving it a shot. I'm gonna see what happens.
Yeah.
Other than that, I feel vulnerable, past vulnerable, moving into some kind of crazy transparency, past embarrassment, past anything. You know what I mean? It's just like, to hell with it. Let's just go all the way with this thing.
Yeah, it's exactly. It's in reality of it is when we're coming into terms with everything, and the awareness of it, even in dream state, is just you see everything. I've always been able to dream in third person, so just seeing everything play out and just seeing everything with wholeness, and then speaking about what's going on. There's a whole level of vulnerability in that is just like, wow, okay, this is not just another thing. This is putting it out there for other people to see, more or less, like, hey, this is really a thing. I'm not experiencing myself. And I think that's what we don't talk about the most, is that softness that's coming out, that openness of, this is my heart, this is what I'm experiencing. And sometimes it's scary, but then again, you don't know who you're helping when showing up and speaking your truth.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and I think, what did you say? Was it vulnerable? In terms of like, what does that feel like? To me, like where the humility's coming in, the vulnerability is getting exploded, the transparency, the thought of just, well, hell, let's just go all the way with this, is when I look at anything, anyone, any circumstance, anything, and I externalize, in a way, conscious or unconscious, I externalize, or my perspective tries to resolve by externalization. So in other words, my focus is outside of myself. It's never them, it's always me. And there's no exception. There's been a lot of talk about boundaries, and, do we even have to make boundaries if we're just being ourselves? I mean, there's this whole thing happening that's challenging our prejudices and biases and unconscious programming and blind spots. And that's the brutal honesty of the soul. And that's where the rubber meets the road. And it's like standing before God.
Yeah. And it's a beautiful and freeing feeling, because just to truly be who you are, because we've mastered it, most of our lives, most of us have. But always first thing that comes up is, well, what will so-and-so think, and what, I have to explain myself. But you put that to the side and just be who you are, and it allows others around you to do the same.
Yeah.
It's such a freeing feeling, that passing through that vulnerability.
Yeah, it's a bit challenging. And I think the women have a better feel for it, because it's very demasculating to the old distorted masculine. And that comes from competition, comparison. And so what you said is absolutely accurate. And I would just add a little something to it from the male perspective, which is, it's every person I'm looking at. And let me put it a different way. Yes, you walk into it the way that you're talking about, absolutely 100%. And in the thought of being yourself, you don't even think about what that person will think about you. Because who are you to think what they might think?
Right.
You're the originator of the the programming that you're being programmed by.
Yeah.
So that's another thing.
Yeah, and it allows you to even reflect on that. Like, wait, I'm still holding some type of a judgment or something.
Yeah, of course.
And yeah,
of course,
yeah.
of course.
So it just the doors just continue to open, and you just put one foot in step of another, and become more and more aware.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's also been really hard. I had to move, and I'm still in the process of moving. So one of the biggest things that have come up for me, since I technically don't have family until now, I'm in my area, it's just been really, really hard to deal with that. And then there's those little things that pop out at you, and you're like, well, what do I do from here? And it's also stems, and I realized, and this is part of the programming, my mom is an independent woman, raised 6 kids.
Wow.
Can you imagine dealing with 6 kids, different age ranges? And even in my family, there was a point where the roles changed. Both me and my older sister were like the parent. And even now when something happens, when they were at school, I took care of their schooling stuff. And if they got in trouble, it would be, they didn't care what my mom said. It was like, oh crap, we don't want Delia to find out what we did. So it was that whole programming of being strong and independent and everything else, and having to open up and be like, hey guys, this is what's going on. This is a situation. I don't know what to do with it. Just even saying that, was really hard. And it's been really hard, especially with that programming of independent woman kind of thing, and kind of saying you don't need anybody, but then that's also pushing everybody aside and building walls. And then even for women, it's that programming still there, and collapsing that. I mean, that took me a hot minute, and then spinned it back into getting into alignment once again. It's not easy, and it's getting quicker, and it's getting easier.
Yeah, asking for that, well, like you say, being vulnerable enough and saying, I need help. And that's all it takes. And it just floods in, and, it's pure, it's there for you. It's just waiting. But we hold ourselves back from asking because we feel that, well, I'm supposed to have this. I'm supposed to be tough. I'm supposed to do this on my own. And but it's supposed to be easy and joyful and wonderful, but we make it hard for ourselves at times.
Yeah. True. That's very true. And it's weird because we're coming out of a duality, which connotates two. And then you're going into this singularity, which is, I am soul, to thine own self be true, the human is the hero. So it's multifaceted. But you can't actualize the embodiment of the Trinity energy unless you share. And so that means there's at least two again. So you go 2, 1, 0, 1, 2, but when those two come together in embodiment, which means in physical incarnation, holding the frequency between them, 2 or more, that they have within themselves. That takes a lot of guts, and we're doing it. And we are doing it softer. If we think about many of our wake-up experiences, they were energetically walking 2 years on the streets, We did that. We did it the hard way. We don't have to do it so hard anymore. We don't have to. How can everything be expanding except for our processes and abilities and ways and means that even though those that we've discovered while we were waking up and ascending, let's just say that, everything's expanding. Our ability to process and embody and be transparent is increasing. So that's going to affect our intelligence. Every day is just it's like a new universe, or just a new part of the dream. I don't know.
Yeah, that's so true. It's like you go through moment by moment, and you're like, I don't know, I'll just speak for myself. I'm just in awe of everything, everything I look at. I mean, it could be just a little ant in the garden, and I'm just in awe of everything. And the next day comes and it's even more magnified, and I'm like, bloody hell, like it can't be more than this. And it is, and it's just, and it feels really nice. It feels really good to just really be and really see others, like really see others. It's and it can be just a simple glance or a hello to somebody that you're passing by, but I can tell that they feel seen.
Yeah.
Like maybe they haven't ever felt that way before, and it can just be a simple glance or a hello or just something like that. Something simple. It doesn't have to be hard.
Yeah, it's kind of like,
it's not hard. It is simple.
It's kind of like the three of you, the two of you and Allison walking around at Soulogy Fest, and y'all would just like, you look right now, except she was there.
Yeah.
And you would just stand in front of people and look at them. Everybody's like, "Holy crap, what's going on with those three triplets over there?"
Yeah, which is interesting. That's exactly what it felt like, because we were able to see everybody just as they are in their soul true essence.
Yeah.
And we had a lot of people gravitate towards us as well. And it was beautiful because we had shared moments where we didn't have to say anything. We totally had a moment where Shakara Tara was passing by, and we were with a couple of people. Allison was with us, and I think it was Blue Hair Angel Jamie was with us. And she's like, there's so much love going on. And I was like, oh, come in, we're gonna hug. And we had a hug out, and we didn't say anything. It was just pure silence. Until we synced up, and then everybody at the same time released a breath, and they were like, okay, that energy work just in silence and in breath was just enough to feel the synchronicity of the energy that was being there, and it was being seen.
Yeah, true.
So
yeah, being
so beautiful.
By 4 too, right?
Yeah.
So that's even more powerful. And I, like, I don't know, to me, there's just seems to be a path of more ease and simplicity and sense. And for example, like what you just talked about, I've never been a conventional, I make a joke, never been a conventional light worker. I'm not big on traditional meditation or certain things, but I certainly do the things that I do when I move to do them. But one of the things that that's kind of that I've kind of adopted in the last couple of weeks is because throughout the day, I'll have many moments of that space where you're like, 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Like I'm thinking about things or overthinking about things, or, falling into an old thought pattern or whatever it is. And then I just like, put my hand on my heart. I'll say I am soul. I'll be still. And it doesn't take, 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes. And they're never too severe, but I'm just doing it as I feel them coming on. That's helped me. Kind of like what you're talking about with Shakara, that moment, but it was just by myself. So yeah, I think sharing those moments, that's something I was exposed to in mass scale at Soulogy Fest was all these women who were operating in the same energy that you guys were. There wasn't a whole lot to be said. There wasn't a fake hug. And you hug people 25, 30 times in 2 days, 3 days. It's
we're in a whole different energy space.
That power that's in the silence is just, it's ineffable. You can't describe that, and that's what it's all about. And the telepathy is just off the charts now, and it's just, it's crazy. The telepathy that's coming in.
Oh yeah, with us, just us, just in general. She's about to call me, I'm calling her. She's like, I was about to text you, and I was like, I know. Yeah. She gets snarky comments in her mind. She says it, and I was like,
I've never.
And then I said, well, you don't do that, but our other sister does.
Yeah.
So.
And I'm like, I know what you're thinking, and it's just, I just blurt it out, and it's not something that I would ever even dream of saying. And then it's like, well, I was actually thinking that. So, you know, now I'm trying to be, oh, okay. How do we work with this? This is
like a ventriloquist.
Like, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, even with you, Todd, knowing that there was a couple shows that I saw, and I just sent them over, and I was like, oh, he's not in Planet. Let me just send them over. And you're like, I was about to do these, and I was like, I know you're not. I'm giving you time to come back. I mean, it's just like just the inner knowing of doing something. You're like, oh yeah, I was about to do that. Yeah.
Well,
you know,
sorry, go on.
No, I was just like, you know, coming into a further knowing of like what I witnessed and everybody else witnessed with many people over there. But you guys were a little bit louder because the three of you were like joined at the hip, walking around.
Yeah.
And if you look like, for example, even though she's not here, because it's the same thing a third time, if you look at your souls, which really you see through your eyes, all three of y'all have the same soul. And I guess what I'm trying to say is it's just like the kind of energy that y'all are sharing today, because there just wasn't a whole lot said. And I think that speaks a lot to me, because I guess the only way we're going to see how what we'll say the mother's energy, the divine feminine energy, whatever you want to call it, really starts to change our experience. And I think that's what I'm getting at. I mean, to sit in this type of space as a man, I don't even know if I'm there yet. And so I know my brothers are going to struggle, because we got to talk and we got to be telling people about ourselves. And I mean, this is a program that may be more loud in one gender than the other, but this is what I see y'all are doing. And when I say y'all, I mean the divine feminine, the mother goddess energy. Yeah. No judgment, no worries, no strife.
And it's definitely coming in extremely strong and loud, but yet soft and gentle all at the same time. It's like firm and strong all at the same time. You know?
Yeah, that's right.
It's hard to describe. And
no, it's not. It's Callie and Glenda, the good witch of the north, mixed into one.
Yes,
She's coming with both hands. She's in a duality. She's got to use both hands.
Yeah, it's funny because my husband asked me, you know, it can be challenging for some, you know, for others around us sometimes, you know, that are getting there, but, you know, they're obviously everyone's at their pace. And my husband did ask, you know, is there a support group to be with somebody like you? And I said, yeah, there is. His name's Todd Medina.
Yeah. It'll be like the blind leading the blind. But let me give you an example.
Yeah.
Oh, I can do this. Okay, so Soulogy Fest was a very present experience for me. I was present in a way I'd never been. And so there was a lot of energy within me. So if I ever was going to be the most connected I've been, whatever, it would have been then. The height of my power, whatever you want to call it, it would seem to make sense. And I don't think I did anything extraordinary. I'm just saying, for the sake of this discussion, what I'm about to tell you. So we went into the teepee, right? And the three of us, the three of y'all and myself first went into the teepee. Julie came in later, and I can't remember when she came in. I remember what happened. But so we went in there, and nobody was saying anything, right? And then I took my shoes off, and I put my feet in the dirt and my hands in the dirt, and I started feeling like I was going to turn into a wild animal. And so the first thing was that I was in a space where I could actually do that, right? Because I think for the masculine energy to really fully express its potential, his potential, he has to be in her womb, unjudged, you know, just what's exhibited by the divine feminine, right? Now I've experienced this with Morgan. I've done all kinds of stuff around Morgan, but this was a different thing, and for me, I felt like the divine feminine energy was really being anchored there. Now, the reason I'm saying this was first, to be in a space where you can actually do that. I mean, I can do a lot of things personally. I don't have a lot of fear. I don't mind getting in front of people. But when you really let go, it's like Tupac's song, All Eyes on Me. Even if you're like the master, you still feel it. You know what I mean? Because it's past the point of it's transparency to your highest level in that moment, right? So that was one part. The second part was, as a result of that, I did whatever I did and offered you whatever I could, which was, I think, a pretty clear channel that I don't do normally, things like that. And so you walk away thinking about, wow. And I didn't spend a lot of time thinking about it, but I'm saying this to try to further a dialogue about the masculine journey, the feminine journey, what the feminine offers, what the masculine offers. And you might walk away and go, wow, that was pretty amazing. I guess I did something for him. And then a couple weeks go by and the energies start to educate you. The mama goddess reaches the deeper parts of your mind and your heart. And you start to realize that it wasn't what you did for them. It's what they did for you. You see? And this just has come to me since Sedona. So she is the creator, and she doesn't create anything anymore because she's the creator. She created. She's creation through him. So he's creation. And that's what that TP experience spoke to me, was there was a womb. I was in the presence of creator. I personally think creator is a woman. And it doesn't matter. But what had been created in the image of that stood before and with that and then expressed. And I think that's maybe a weak way of saying how this thing really works and why there's an importance of the masculine and the feminine. And it's an energy that can be platonic, romantic, and really at the end of the day, it's all of them, if you want to try to explain it from a human thing. So anyway, I just wanted to say thank you, and thank you, Allison. And when y'all meet Allison, the day she comes on the camera, oh my God. And then the three of you on the camera, I would just take myself off the screen and you guys could sit there in silence. And people would
do that. Yeah.
Allison's here.
Yeah, she is. She's always with us.
Yeah, definitely.
Always. She's always with us.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was just, Sedona was, there are no words for what Sedona was. From the moment we started our trip to the moment we left.
And yeah, by the way, the first day that we got there is actually the first time we actually met in person.
Yeah, the three of us.
Yeah, I remember that.
Before.
Yeah, and then people were asking us, you guys been long-time friends? And we're like, no, this is the first time we actually met.
Yeah.
It certainly felt that way to me, and I knew the story with all three of y'all.
Yeah, and it felt just like a homecoming. Like, finally, I've met my family, my real family. Not the ones that birthed me, not that. I don't want it to come across. I can't think of any other human words to put to it, but not the superficial family, but the real family.
Yeah.
That's how it felt. Like, gosh, it's like what I've personally, I'm like, God, I've longed for this for 50 plus years, and finally I've found my family, and I can't imagine not having that feeling. I don't know, I can't describe it. I'm jibber jabbering, but
no, you're not jibber jabbering. It's a good point. It's a really good point. Because for me it was a representation. It had to be happening all over the world, and all over the world could have been 2 spots, 6 spots, 8, 16, 144,000. I don't know, but something like that was being anchored in that weekend, and everybody and I can only speak for Soulogy Fest, everybody that was at that Soulogy Fest was exposed to that energy.
Yeah.
And I might have seen 4 5, 6 people out of 100 that were maybe not on the frequency, and it wasn't anything loud. It was just, and they came and went. They didn't really stick around, the ones that I'm referring to. But and so and then what's interesting too is I've had with y'all, the three of y'all, I'd say probably 10, 12 people that I've kind of connected with one way or the other since then, and know enough about what's going on with them. And I'm talking about let's just say the highs and the lows, and how they're handling it, and how on a couple or 2 or 3 of these things, how we've handled it together. It's really interesting. And to me, I feel like that what that's telling me is that some of whatever happened, or whatever that was there, that because there were so many nodes, so many souls, right, has stuck with people. And does it last? Maybe, I guess you've got to feed it, nurture it, and sustain it, and expand it. But yeah, I see that in the reflection of the experience.
And once you've experienced that, you can you want to nourish it and feed it and nurture it, and it ripples out. It's like a domino effect. Like all of us that were there, now we've gone, into our own respectful homes and places. But I have no doubt in my mind that now it's just rippling out into our, the physical geographical communities that we're in. Yeah. There's no doubt, because it's just too big. It's just the love is just, it's too pure. It's too big. I always tell them, I'm like, sometimes I feel like I'm just going to combust. Like, I just want to hug everything. I just want to sing to everything, and I don't know. It might sound silly, but
no, I think it's, I'm sitting here because I that energy is, I mean, it won't leave you awestruck. Mm-hmm. And even though Allison put up a comment a minute ago, Todd never sat down once, and that's true. And I'm not saying that I never felt like it. You know what I mean? I never felt like it. But even though I might have been in high energy and connected to what I was doing, I was connected to everything else, and I was awestruck the entire time. So, and again, it's not about one particular event. It's about that energy was anchored to the earth, and it's just a representation of what's happening. And that's big. That's huge. Yeah. That's huge.
I mean, even when we were part of that, ladies that were anchoring the energy that you witnessed.
Saturday evening.
It just happened. All the people that happened to be there were holding that same frequency they were talking about. And even the people that were witnessing were part of that energetic field that was created.
Yeah, that's right.
We just felt, and we were just moving synchronistically, and it felt like this is what we've been doing for eons.
Yeah,
this is what we did in the past.
It looked primordial.
It felt that way. It felt that way. It was just.
They were at one point we were chanting or calling out and everything else. Yeah. It was just in the moment.
Yeah. I mean, it was so organic and beautiful, and the sisterhood was just. You're right there, Todd.
Yeah, there's a lot of weird stuff been happening over here.
You keep shifting to me. I see multiple parts of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was incredible. I mean, just, there are just no words.
Well, that energy's here, and that's what this platform is for.
Well, and even there was a show that we were watching yesterday. That when we were watching, they're feeling buzzy and hyper, and I was feeling that even the things that you guys were discussing, but it was just the energy, the presence of it.
Yeah.
We were just getting hit so much with some like boom, 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 nothing but coded information and everything else. And it wasn't anything that was being said. It was just the presence of the energy between the two of the people that were there. And it was just like, oh man, we got blasted with energy. And it was amazing. And even that is just like Yes, Susanna Walter show. That's what it was. We just got hit with nothing but a ton of energy. And even then, taking it to meditation, however we do, because we have all our own. I do sauna meditations. It's the best way I can connect.
What is it?
And sauna. I go to the sauna in the heat. Yeah, and I don't care who is next to me. I will meditate my butt off. And there was one instant that was kind of funny that there was this man that was sitting next to me, but I was anchoring some energy. It was.
You're in the sauna? It's a co-ed sauna?
Co-ed. Yeah, it's co-ed.
Yeah. Are you talking about like a hot tub or
no,
sauna, a steam room?
No, so there's a steam room and then there's just the hot, dry heat.
Okay, so it's more like a hot shower was running and you're sitting in there and
no, they have it set up as the thing is separate aside, and it's just it's generated by itself that it's throws off the water a little bit, but it's just a whole machine.
Okay, cool.
And it's just hot. It's not like wet.
So what happened when the man was in there?
No, there's several men. I ended up was the only woman doing that. Well, it was Father's Day weekend, and I was anchoring some energy where I was helping lift, and then there was an energy that person that sat next to me pulled my attention. And I looked, and I was like, okay, whatever it is, he's here for something. And then I didn't realize that he had a giant back tattoo of the devil in the back. But then again, I was like, whatever that is, there's the presence that was needed. He had full on everything that was going on, and I was like, you know what, he's here for doing that, and his energy was here to anchor in some energy. And even with that, I took it further and I pulled in that energetic frequency of what people think of separation of good and evil, and took it in me, and I was like, oh, I love you for who you are and what you stand for, because that's your prerogative, and just absolute compassion. And even in that moment, it was just absolute powerful.
Yeah.
And I don't even know what was that, but there was a lot of stuff that's been happening in that. I mean, for me, meditation in the sauna was my process, but I didn't realize I was being loud with light language was coming on. And this is one of the first times I didn't give two flying fucks.
Wait a minute. Are you in the sauna doing light language?
I was in the sauna doing light language while I was meditating, and I did not realize how loud I was being.
And with all these dudes around, what were they doing? They all probably had to leave because they were getting a bump in their towel.
No, they were. Oh God.
Well, the light language, you're in the sauna and a woman starts doing light language. That's dangerous territory. That's new territory for us. 5D, it's cool. Mm-hmm. But no, I'm just making a joke. That's a good point you made about the dark and light thing, because that. And you mentioned too about working in dream state or in dimension or in the ethers. I think we're figuring it out on both sides, because I feel that. I feel that with Morgan. I feel that, and other people not as with as much clarity. But we're working it out on both sides.
Yeah,
like there's aspects of us involved. And it's all becoming one voice, including with our own. But there's aspects still working things out. We have a lot to do with that, but we also do some of that work in dimension. I think here, where our consciousness is most conscious, it would make sense to me. It has more impact because we have more focus, because we're more present. It's so dense, right?
We were talking about that yesterday. I think it was yesterday, or it could have been today. But the fact that there's so much purging going on in that quote unquote dream state, that we are exactly what you said, Todd, that we're doing, just as much, if not more work there, and then anchoring those codes in, and then bringing it into the density of the physicality that we're in.
Yeah.
And I think that's why every day it just feels more and more expansion, because there is no going to sleep. I mean, it's constant. I don't even like to call it work, but you understand that what I'm trying to say, that, what we do there, we anchor into the physical state. And that's why it just feels expansion upon expansion every single day, every single moment feels bigger and bigger. Because like you said, we're working hand in hand in
Yeah, definitely. This is one of the funny things too. Even waking up, I told them I knew that I was back on Earth. I just didn't know who I was. It took me a while to be like, wait, I'm Delia in this body. Where am I? Where am I living? It took me a bit. So I totally get just coming back from that dimensional travel back into the body. And I've had them where in the past where they're kind of shocking that I literally lived like a cat out of the bed, and it was like slow motion, just leaping backwards because the re-entry of the body was harsh. And now this time it's becoming lighter, but I don't know where I'm at. So it's interesting.
It's interesting. It is what it is today.
Yeah, exactly.
It is what it is today. It used to be day by day. Now it's moment by moment.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and the connection with simply everything, like just, you know, the plants, the trees, the animals. It's just, it's almost comical, because when you try to describe it to those around you, that, you know, I mean, I sometimes get a look like, okay, you know, she's a bit off her rocker, but it's lovely to have a platform like this where I can say something like that, and you're like, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about, you know.
Yeah, and then there's these moments where you get this huge energy running through your body, and you're doing a show with your two sisters, and you feel like you're gonna throw up or pass out.
Yeah.
And
I experienced that when you did the show. I think it was yesterday or the day before. And I all of a sudden started feeling really nauseous, like I just wanted to throw up. And then as soon as the show was done, I was, you know, all right again. So how do you even describe that to somebody?
I don't know. It just happened to me about 3 minutes ago.
Yeah.
But and I'll be honest with you, it's happening more and more to me, not just on the show. And that's true too, but it's not always just on the show. It's like even during the day. Sometimes I just kind of walk through it, but because I'm doing something or you know, whatever I'm doing, and I guess that's a way of ignoring it or putting it off. And then sometimes, like right now, I thought, am I going to pass out? And then, you know, it starts, and it's still there, but I'm also finding that when that is happening more and more often. It actually happens a lot when I go to bed and lay in bed and I stare at the ceiling for an hour and a half before I can fall asleep. But it seems like something's trying to come out, not in a bad way. And maybe it's the throat chakra.
It's funny that you say that, because it just reminded me when I do meditation, sometimes I don't remember what I meditate. It's just certain things, words that somebody say remind me of some things that I channeled something to them. I was like, hey guys, I'm telling you now because I'll probably forget and I won't remember. So what it felt like, and I even got nauseous in the meditation, in the sauna towards the end. And it felt like, whatever we're going to do, we're going to go through energetic purging, and it's not going to look like what we feel like physical purging looks like. It's going to be energetic. And I told them, I feel like I'm puking, but it's energetic puke in a way.
Yeah.
Just to put it that way. But yeah, it's not just that. And then I see some throat chakra, but I can feel it from the bottom of the root of the chakra, everything clearing up from the very top.
Yeah. Yes. Much better explanation. That's are more detailed, because that's exactly what it feels like. For me, there's a lot of it is, I'm not saying the root's been cleared, but the root was being cleared for a long time. You know, like no matter what the chakra of the month was, I mean, it was always the root was, and having many experiences, and then everything kind of seemed to clear. But now it seems to be like from the sacral and the soul and the solar. And a lot of times what happens too, it'll go into the heart, expand, and then I feel this vibration in my throat.
That's it.
Can't really even call it my throat. It's more like my neck, but it's a neck that's out to here.
Yeah.
Like my light body neck or something. I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah. No, I've been feeling that for over a week, almost 2 weeks now, just from the solar plexus up, and it's almost that constant nausea. But it's interesting how we're experiencing, all of us, you know, are experiencing similar things during this time.
It's just very humbling. That's all I can say.
Yeah. And there's no need to make any sense of it, because I don't think anybody can make any sense of it. Like you said, you just flow through it. We remind each other of that all the time when we're connecting. It's like, okay, sister, just flow through it. Let go. You just have to let go, and then it dissipates faster, or should I say, it gets softer faster. It's not as intense.
Yeah, and I've heard a lot of people have said that it's becoming faster. It's getting softer. I think, Delia, you were just saying how we don't talk about the softness that's happening. So there's a lot of energetic softness, I guess is what I'm saying. And yeah, I think that's also something we're getting used to. Because it's not the exception anymore, it's the rule.
Right. Yeah.
It's the rule. I mean, it's not like we never had 5D episodes when we were deep in the 3D. It just wasn't being engaged because it was crazy and fantasy and imaginary and all that stuff.
Yeah, and also it wasn't happening as fast linearly as we are experiencing it, because now it's constant. It's not, oh, today I'm feeling like this and then I have 3 or 4 days. No, it's not. It's like, in this moment I'm feeling like this.
Yeah.
And I have no idea in 10 minutes what I'm going to be feeling like. So it's constant. But I do believe that it really had to be that way. Otherwise, it would have been too much coming in at us all at the same time. We wouldn't have been able to handle it. I mean, if we think sometimes now we can't handle it, could you imagine if it, all of a sudden it's like a train, stopping immediately, it would just derail. So it had to go slow.
We would combust.
Yeah, we would combust.
No doubt.
Yeah. So it's just honoring the moment that you're in and just going with it.
The best analogy I was saying is, it's like we're driving in the fast-paced way, but now we're seeing that there's a turn coming up, so we're easing off the gas and we're not braking right away. That way it can just glide into it. Yeah. And save gas within ourselves as well, because it's not like gonna get there quick as I can. It's not rapid, because no matter what we're gonna be doing, we're gonna get there no matter what. So however that looks like, however that presents, because I can see, I've told them like 3-4 times, I see them, so I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Then I'm like, why do they keep changing the timelines? And it also has to do with energetics and decisions that are being out there. Is just the possibilities, but then it's also the trajectory of what better suits me. So it changes, and I'm not putting like, I don't know where I'm going to go from there. I don't know where it looks like in 6 months, and this is the first time that I can honestly say I'm okay with that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do you guys feel like there's less chatter? Are you still, or I don't know how to say this or ask this, but do you find yourself getting stuck in the mind, whether it be for 10 minutes or a whole day or anything like that? No.
I can speak for me, and I know I don't, which is a very different feeling for me. Yeah. Because I can just sit and just be. Yeah. And I caught myself, I think about a week ago, saying, I've just been sitting today, and I'm completely at peace and so just in love with everything. And I can just sit and in silence, not with the telly on and not with music on, but just with myself. There's no trying to stay busy and keep your mind busy. And I don't have that inner chatter, and I've never experienced that my whole life, and it's beautiful.
So it's new for you.
Yeah, since I work still in 3D Matrix, I catch myself, but it's not long. It's just like, oh, okay, get back into alignment. Yeah. And I catch myself, because most of the people that I connect with or even see, I'm always pleasant to them. If I met them or don't come in or whatever, because I work at a salon. So when people come in, they're like, oh my God, you're the one that I was talking on the phone. Thank you so much. And it was just, what I tell them is, hey, I speak to you like I would speak to myself. Like, I want somebody to speak to me like that. And it's just a little nugget of giving them towards the unity consciousness and whatever, or they'll strike up a conversation or something. And it's just becoming softer in everything else. So even with that, the chatter, I catch right away and I'm like, oh wait, that's not even really reality. Like, don't even put any attention to it. And it's just like, boom, shift.
Hmm.
I mean, I have to say, sometimes in meditation, seldom happens now anymore, but if I do find myself kind of wandering off a little bit, what's been working for me, and I don't even know where I got this from, but I just thought of it, I guess. I just tell myself thinking. I just put that word up in my mind, thinking, and that kind of shifts me. It brings me back into my body and makes me realize, okay, I'm beginning, the chat is coming.
Right.
I'm thinking. So I don't have to think about what I'm thinking about or anything. I just put that word up in my mind, thinking, and it immediately just takes it away. So I don't know if that makes sense, but that might help.
Yeah, it's kind of like a, hey, you're thinking, get back into your body.
Yeah. So just that word.
I mean, I think
it's just a word.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, there's a lot. Whatever works. Whatever works.
For each, their own.
To me, that seems like a pretty basic part of the maintenance. It's getting easier, like everything else. The softness thing is a different dynamic, right? So if you that's being allowed to expand and it is expanding. It's becoming the field. It's and so that I've noticed it's the effect of the changes that I'm noticing. It's not so much the changes that are creating the effect, even the changes within myself. Like there's certain things happening unconscious, like in unconscious programming that's occurring to me. I'm aware of that, but there's also an unconscious expansion happening to me. So I don't really have a great sense of what's happening. I mean, I could talk in general terms just because I've done this show and talked to people, but to me, it's like I wake up, it's like today, I feel like I'm in dimension. I wake up and I'm looking around and I'm looking at the effects of the expansion and I'm going, wow. Like for instance, before we got on today, I was thinking about certain things and I was noticing compassion, like not compassion, like, oh, I'm compassionate. And I was and am for these examples that I was thinking of. It was more of like, oh, that's what it looks like. Like even things that are human that we're still shedding or aligning or whatever you want to call it, like sadness or grief. Things are occurring and there's a softer side to that too. Right? It's like this knowing gives you this oneness, this I am soulness that we're, staying in more and more and more. But at the same time, as the human identity is coming into alignment or things are dying, because that sounds wrong to me, but there's like almost like a bittersweet. It's a softer grief. It's a softer sadness. It's a softer anger. Because look, there's still a lot of people getting angry. And I think that's part of the process too, is to own the anger. Hopefully we don't spit it out on anybody, but again, everything's getting softer. And, we spend a lot of time aspiring to be our 5D and our higher self and so on. And that's fantastic. We already are that, but let's not forget the gold, the human.
That's right. Yeah, it is. It's a beautiful experience to be human. And, that's not something that often we've thought of because we're so ready for the next and to get the bloody hell out of here because we're not enough, and all of that. But really, it's, once we're done here, we're simply a nebulous mist and we don't get this experience of the physicality, and that we must remind ourselves at times that we're here to have that experience and to savor it.
Yeah.
And number one thing is to have fun. Just have fun. We make things so serious sometimes, and
I hear that. I hear that.
Yeah. And I tell you that, from the experience I had in Sedona, that was loud and big. It
Well, you were very entertaining one particular night. No, but you're right. And I've been a big kid my whole life. Well, I went to sleep pretty heavy, as a lot of us did, and was uptight for probably 10, 12 years, 15 years. I don't know.
Yeah.
But the kid part of it, the laughing, the making light of things. Hey, I have all the reverence in the world. I'll put mine up against anyone's. That's just me. That's my own truth. My faith, I'll put up against anything. Not anyone, anything, But it's not that serious. I should be able to laugh at anything. Not in a sarcastic way, but in a don't get so uptight way. Like, oh my God, that's
in a joyful way. It's all. I mean, I'm constantly saying it's all an illusion. That's just silly. What am I trying to take so seriously? That's so silly. And when I say that's so silly, I'm talking to myself. Like, Aneeta, you're just being so silly. I seldom have those moments anymore. But when I look back to, for what I can remember where I was, but it's like some of us never really had the opportunity to be that child because we had to be grown-ups when we were children. And I know Delia can attest to that too. So now it's like, my goofy side is constantly out and I'm telling silly jokes and
you are well, that's what Delia is too, and Allison is too in her own way. She's got that dry, intelligent humor. In fact, she doesn't even have to open her mouth and that comes across. It's just like, whoa.
Yeah.
So
it's fabulous.
Do you guys want to share something? The two of you? Do you want to share some light language or something or anything? Do you want to show everybody? Do you want to put on some electronic music and show everybody how y'all were anchoring the divine feminine mother goddess energy into the earth with all those other, huh?
So next time for sure we'll do that.
You had something coming in.
Maybe we could do some light language. I've been definitely feeling it come through. If you're open for that,
I'm open to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm split wide open today.
Let's see. Let's just see. Well, we never know.
Just like every day.
If you feel anything. If you feel guided, I just ask you to place your hand on your heart and take a few deep breaths. Iahan aist o hukn en timin ya amba ang kustunuk ik ana antua ik amba angstu bunu anta yambaranta ikuchtu o kunhu umbara anta ik ana ambu asti o hostani amba antuku o unti I ana amba ik ana hastunbu ikinti ya umbunu anta kastini yambaranta I hostunu ok unhumbua nta I mburultuku ik ahashtunu umbua nanta yana umbun umburuntukustun beranta ikutu wana hantu ok ana ambo an antishtunu ik ana ambra anta ai untu beruntistana ambu kuntua inta ik ana hantua I ostunu aha amba ik ana ambu Iya na antu un antistana wana wanto stun wakantu wanta ahistu ik anhanta I astunwa ik anhanti inta into kumun into I unto stu kumun beranta ik anhanta intumo ibi into umberuntua ik anhastin ya anta ambo I into stundu anta. Nosto, noa mba I anta.
Holy shiitake mushrooms, man.
God, I feel so emotional. I feel. Thank you for allowing me that.
I felt like I felt that way before you started. I thought I'm split wide open today. I feel turned inside out. I feel totally exposed. You know what I mean? It's like, and then you did that, and I actually feel a little bit better. You know,
Thank you.
and that's what you were basically saying.
Yeah.
I thought you and Delia were going to start talking light language to each other like y'all did in the
There was a
condo.
part but whatever she was coming through was hard.
No, I got that.
But because even before
she's
she's talking, I could hear it in my ear, like the zooming in the ear. And I was like, "Ooh, that's something powerful is coming." Oh, because we can actually talk light language to each other and have no attachment to what we're saying.
I witnessed it.
I know.
I witnessed it.
That was
I totally
crazy.
witnessed it. Y'all were
Crazy.
y'all talked light language like for 20 minutes. Just
oh my gosh, and that was so easy and natural and organic, and then the human words were so hard and challenging and heavy. You know.
See, you know, and the thing is, and people look, I mean, it's not even worth saying, but what I will say is that as I was watching you, I was thinking, I wasn't thinking because it's me, right? It came in and said to me something like, you know, because again, it's not words, something like, hey, we've landed. We're here. We're here. We're all finding each other through transmissions like that, through shows, platforms, festivals, instant messages. I mean, the whole 9 yards, we found each other. And that speaks to, we all know deep inside the power of one soul.
Yeah. Because we are.
Yeah.
We are that one soul.
That's right.
Yeah. And we look at each other that way, and we can only have compassion and hold pure love for each other.
Yeah. Are you guys getting triggered much? I mean, I know we talked about getting off balance a little bit, but are you having that happen much anymore? Is that happening much anymore?
No, because if anything, which seldom, if anything does come up, it makes for myself, I look at myself and say, what about this am I holding on to? Because it's about me. It's not, and I'm actually hold gratitude for whatever that brings that up, because thank you for showing me that there's still something that I'm holding on to.
Yes.
And I'm ready to see it. I'm ready to
it shifted to recognition of what's there. If there's a program on there. There's certain circumstances in my life that, of course, that come up, and it's just like, oh, okay, what can I do? What can I move? How am I going to move towards navigating through that? And it showed me from time to time. It just doesn't say that that's just one way. There's ways around every other part that this no longer have limits. And I don't think that's a trigger, but it's just like a part of the programming. And it's like I chose to come through in this as this, and it's part in the field. So working alongside of that and outside of it, like how Franco shared his experience about traveling, and changing the energetics of it, of what is there and how to move through it and everything else. It's just like, boom, all right, let's just shift it. It's like you're driving in a little go-kart and you're switching lanes.
Yeah. And if you peel away the layers of everything, of what it is that might be triggering somebody, it all boils down to fear, because it's either fear of abandonment or fear, or fear of something like that. It's like, okay, well, what about if you peel it away? It boils down to fear, really. Well, and then what am I really afraid of? Of somebody else's judgment on me? Well, then that's not on me, and you have no control over something.
Yeah, it's like the fear of accepting something outside of yourself.
Yes.
You. It's the fear of. It's really the fear of what you don't want to admit to yourself. I mean, we can talk about it, but that's what's happening is it looks like there's less going on because people are keeping it to themselves and working it out,
Yes. Yeah.
And maybe that's why there's so much solitude right now.
Yeah.
So, and okay, so I only talk about this because I hope it will help me and help you and help somebody. But like another thing that's happened is I've come to understand, or yes, because it's me talking to me, it's not a thinking. I've come to understand that we do some really big things here, and to fully embody even one person, one template, like say Christ consciousness or whatever it might be, or sub template, that takes a lot. So when you have 100 people get together at something like a Soulogy Fest, it's huge because it's a huge embodiment. It's not just about having 100 points of Akashic, records. It's also dealing with that energy into the human form, into the form, right? And so what I'm trying to say is that since the Soulogy Fest, I've noticed my me, right? Like I came out of it, and I wasn't like, I was extremely humbled. It was just an amazing experience. You really don't have time to think about it. And I'm really using this as an example, just of like a pattern that's maybe developing or that's occurred. So then I come back, and it's like the humans come in full force. The vulnerabilities, the dives, the doubts are there. And I think for me, examining these doubts is something I've never really looked at. I've looked at programming as a program, and I've looked at my, different emotions, and I probably have looked at doubt, 0-pointed doubt. And I know I did back in, the day, a couple of years ago, a year and a half ago. And but why? Why is there a doubt? The whys.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that I'm talking about. And I've just started to like look into that, and it's pretty fucking scary.
But
be
have
honest.
you noticed that when you do sit with it for a moment, that it comes up quite loud and clear? So you don't have to dig deep anymore. It's right there on the surface, and it's coming up because you are ready to let go of those doubts and the questioning the whys.
Maybe that's
right
I think Franco told me that was my ego talking. Maybe I'm going back to the same thing. You're right, because okay, so like today I was like going, look at all the things that have happened in the last 10 years to you, that you've been witness to, that you've experienced in the last 5+ years with Morgan. Look at all the divine, crazy, wild, unarguable, dimensional experiences in the physical. And I was thinking, why am I thinking about this? And there was something in me going, don't forget, don't stop, don't give up, don't stop, keep going. That's what I was hearing. Now I wasn't getting attached like, oh wow, that all happened, and this is a belief system, and we're going to charge the hill for this. It's not like that.
Yeah.
It's a place. It's like what you're talking about, like taking yourself back to that place. And it's pretty, but for me, it's been a little bit scary. But it's not slowing me down. But it just, I don't know if everybody else is going through this, but and that's why I want to do 3 shows at least every day, because it's helping me. It's helping me be more transparent. And I have no idea what the next show or tomorrow brings. I mean, you might see me over here a Playboy bunny suit. I don't know what's going to happen.
Nothing will surprise us anymore. There are no surprises. And if we don't see you there, we'll see you probably in dream state in that Playboy bunny suit.
Right. I'll be the big bunny.
I'll tell you, Anubis certainly has been coming in very really strongly and loudly in my meditations and during dream state for me. So, you know, Anubis in some little bunny ears. Yeah, we could do that.
They're not bunny ears. They're.
Oh no, they're not. Absolutely not. Wow.
I don't know. I think that Anubis, that Anubis, the energy or the consciousness, the symbol, the whatever you want to call it. I've seen a lot of people bringing it up in the last month or so. It's popping up, and maybe it's just in my field.
I think it's just the whole Egypt connection too, because it's strong. The entire time when we were there too, they had the kimonos, the painted kimonos. I forgot her name, but she does amazing work.
Oh, Renee Ariel.
Yes. And she had a hawthorn with the crown and everything, and the entire time I just kept staring at it. Yeah. And between that and Ganesh, because Ganesh is a big part apparently.
You remind me of Ganesh. You do. Do you have six? Do you have 6 more arms?
Well, there's a Ganesh right there.
Yeah, there's a Ganesh.
See, there's Ganesh sitting behind us, watching over us right there.
Yeah, because it's kind of funny. Everywhere that I go, there's always a Ganesh. Even in travels or something, it comes through. But I forgot what I was talking about. Oh yeah, the Hathor energy. Yes, the Hathor energy was there and present, and the whole Egyptian connection was very anchored. And me and her kept joking that we kept hearing coyotes out at night. We're in our Airbnb. And I would tell her it's Anubis.
That's Anubis, man. I'm telling you right now.
One night it was really loud. It sounded like it was literally right in front of our window.
I told you I had one walk right up to me the night before I left. In the middle of the street, like what's going on?
The only time it was quiet, it was when we anchored in the Mother Goddess energy. That was the only time. And then we even like, what the fuck? It's so quiet. Listen. I need a cricket outside the window at least. It was silent. And it was deafening. And we were like, what the hell is going on? We were like in a cone of silence. Yeah.
When that happened on that Saturday night, the entire universe bowed. And of course, it's not a coincidence that roughly 12 hours later, Pamela Johnson got up and her feet turned into rainbows. Yeah, that's right. And she spoke the energy that you all were being and speaking. And then the 6 Black Hawk helicopters come. I swear, I'm just saying this on a personal level because I really feel that the real masculine energy is coming online, but it's not coming on as the feminine knows. It don't come. It's not like, it'd be an easier path. Maybe it's not. I don't know. But the women know it takes it. There's something that has to happen. And I see a lot of brothers exhibiting that. I see it in their coming out, and I see it in their pain. And I guess we're all connected, and it's I guess it's just one guy trying to say what's happening to me or what I'm feeling or seeing is happening to the collective, the patriarchal, not the masculine. The patriarchal is collapsing, which means the distorted masculine and the distorted feminine are collapsing. And whether it's happening at the same time or one's going first is not even the fucking point. The point is it's happening. And I think what I'm getting from the feminine energy is the ability to look at things as only the mother can. And so it's affecting my entire life. and I feel like I've been split wide open, and
it's looking at
you
it
trust.
with compassion and
Mm-hmm.
pure love. That's it.
Yeah.
Compassion
Yeah.
and pure love.
Yeah.
And you can look at it like, it's all perspective, isn't it? One may look at it like, oh, it's chaos and the world's coming to an end. Or you can look at it like it's beautiful. And yes, that world is coming to an end, but there's something anew afoot, So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
where you want to put your energy.
You agree to disagree, and the point of contention doesn't give you a charge.
Right.
If it gives you a charge, or anything gives you a charge, it's on you, just like you talked about earlier through your process of, you take it to yourself and you actually think it. Yeah. So I'm thanking my doubts. Like, why am I, for me to get up and go and to be self-conscious after 3,000 shows, I mean, that's some big energy. Like, I don't spend a lot of time thinking about what I look like, even though my hair's falling out and it's turned white and all that, whatever, there's something about showing up, and I'm not trying to pat my back. I'm not doing that. I'm trying to say it's a one of 8 billion methods or projections of our energy that is basically saying, I feel the more expanded I feel, the more vulnerable I get beyond vulnerable. It's weird.
Yeah.
It's weird.
The more I don't give a fucks you give. Right? So who cares? It doesn't matter.
Well, even the I don't give a fucks are getting softer. Like, you can't even say something, and you can't even say some things because they violate the alignment of your soul.
Right.
And so now, to deal with the things I say, the things I've said, and even the things I will say, okay? I think we're also getting to a point where we're not beating ourselves up anymore, and we aren't beating each other up. Right? If I am out of the 0 point field in a moment, for a day, for all the time, whatever, it's my work to be done. And anything and anyone that presents the way to me is actually anything and everything I come across, and anyone I come across, that is a gift. Yeah. They are not a problem. Yeah, they absolutely are not, you know what I mean?
Otherwise, it wouldn't be in your field. If there wasn't an energy that you were holding on to, or what was you, it wouldn't come into your field. Yeah. And that's taking responsibility, isn't it? Like, if somebody cuts you off, it's like, okay, they cut me off, but obviously there's something in me that I'm holding that energy. Okay, well, go ahead, off you go. I'll back off a little bit, no big deal. It's not serious. It's not, who cares? It doesn't matter. I think we've been accustomed to just be in a rush and what's next, and never really just being present. And just,
it's part of that. It's
and so it's learning anew, and that's been challenging for a lot of us.
I think that's part of that whole part of isolation and taking time within self. It's just
been forced to do so.
Yeah, coming again, and how do you re-interact once again with yourself in society with this new energy that's anchoring in. How do you want to present yourself now to the world from here on out?
And Mama Gaia definitely has been showing us, and she's, guiding us, but you just have to tune in.
Yeah.
How are you doing, Todd?
I'm all right. Okay. I mean, it is what it is, right? I mean, it's just like, I know, like, I know, I'm just saying this on behalf of everybody. I know what I am.
Yeah.
I want to act what I am and be what I am and be as transparent as possible. And I think about some of the things I was shown or told by myself. It's all me. When I woke up 10 years ago walking the streets, and I think about some of the things I was told, and thinking that, for instance, everyone will know everything you've ever done, and vice versa, right? So that really changes everything. And so I guess what I'm saying from my perspective right now in 2021, how far is that going to go? Is there a day going to come when I will tell my deepest, darkest secrets, my deepest addictions, my bouts in hell? And I'm speaking for everybody, not just me. And so what if I do? Is that going to hurt anyone or help anyone? And I'm not saying it'll happen for me or anyone else, but if I do, I don't believe it would hurt anyone. I would believe that it is love letting go of love, no matter how it felt when it happened. Love being free, sharing it with the world. It's got code. Somebody's going to say, for instance, I did that too. Mm-hmm. I know that place. Yeah. So maybe that's what it's going to take, is everybody just lays their shit on the table. Yeah. Because everybody has some.
and in a way that's a beautiful gift, because it allows the other person to do the same, where they might be holding on to something, and that self-doubt, the self-judgment, the shame, I mean, that's huge. And then by us sharing those intimate things, it's saying, it's okay, brother, it's okay, sister, you're loved regardless. And it's and what a burden that would, the burden that we carry on our own shoulders. By sharing these things, we're able to say, it's okay, that's all right, I love you regardless, it doesn't matter. And when we come to the realization that we did what we knew best to do at that time, that allows you to have compassion for yourself and for everyone else. Right?
The damnation, judgment, condemnation, I'm talking of self, is
torture.
That's our devil. That's our devil. That's the devil within us. And the devil is just as important as the angel, but I mean.
Yeah, that's the hell.
They play roles.
Quote unquote hell. They play the roles. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
And some people, it may seem like, for instance, if I look at my trip, I think Missy Sue can identify with this. Somebody on the outside looking in might look at it and go, well, you did that to yourself. Mm-hmm. And then the other end of the spectrum is somebody's been violated, perpetrated in very, very horrible ways. Energetically speaking, who the fuck am I to judge any of it? Mm-hmm. Everybody's pain is exactly the same.
That's right.
It's just what it looks like proportionate to their existence and from the observer's perspective. The same goes for love, right? True love, unconditional love, what we are. I am soul. It's both. We're taking both with us. I am soul. I am human. We're taking both with us. And when I say both with us, there is no, oh, you made it or you didn't make it. It's just how far can we take this before we all put our hands in there and say, I've had enough of this. Yeah. Maybe that's the big solar flash.
Exactly.
We all say, fuck this shit, I'm out of here, let's go back up into the heavens, whatever, right?
But we also having that,
and then as soon as we do, we turn around and say, well, can we go back down now, because I want to have that physical experience again, because there's nothing like that.
They're going to be like, sorry, you're on the waiting list, I'll call you like in a couple years.
Touche,
in a few 100 million years or whatever. So
well, I mean, what is the biggest coincidence that soul gathering brings in the soul family? And I was shown this in meditation in December the 21st, the solstice. I was doing sun casing, and in that moment when I connected, I saw the earth had shifted from the quadrant to another, and then the massive amounts of souls in the other side cheering us on. Not only did I see that, but I was part of that. And I saw myself in an aspect of that I literally was banging on drums alongside of my brothers and sisters on the other side. That part of me came out and looked at myself and like, oh, I'm that being. And then realizing that I can project myself out looking at myself.
Yeah.
Yep. And there is massive celebration.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Delia.
Gosh, if we could celebrate ourselves the way that we are being celebrated from the other
What
side.
we felt, yeah.
Oh my
Remember
God,
that-
it
do you
would be
remember
just
that
a
song?
continuous
Yeah.
party.
Y'all might not be. I think it's the first dance I ever went to. I was in 7th grade. That song, Celebrate.
Celebrate good times.
Celebrate good. We're going to have a good time tonight.
Yes,
You remember that one?
that's it. I
love that song. I used to
Yeah.
sing that song all the time to myself. Just that
Yeah.
line.
Yeah, that.
Yeah,
and
you're
we-
right.
And
It's-
we are family. That's another one.
We are
that pops
family.
up.
That's that song.
Yeah.
Everybody shook their ass to that song.
Yep. And everybody
We
should
are-
now, right? That
Hell, I
should
thought, when I heard that song, I must have been what, 6th grade, or I would have been dancing in privacy first, you know what I mean? Thinking I was one of those sisters too, because
yeah.
that was one of my first occurrences with my own divine feminine within inside me. Right.
Great.
But yes, we should sell. Yes, fuck yes. I mean, yeah. Is it okay to die? Is it, we're having the ebb and the flow of it and all that, right? We're all sitting here going, they're not as low as they used to be. We don't stay there as long as. Yeah. So is it? Just
and every
reminding
time,
ourselves.
yeah, and every time it does, we perceive them as down moments. They're not down like they were. They're still up, and then we just go up from there. Even does that make sense?
Yeah.
You know what I'm trying to say? Like those down moments aren't like on the ground. Like we think that they're still high, but we just pop down for a minute and then we pop back up, and then the next down is not going to be as low. So we just keep going.
There's no reason not to be in that state a lot of the time. And it does take some correcting or some realigning. Jermaine, I didn't realize Jermaine had been around that long. She's like, there you go. The way it was when I first met you, Todd. Funky called Medina. Back in the day.
Yes.
So Pamela said that our friend Maureen Moss is playing We Are Family just this past hour.
Oh, well, of course.
So, you know what? Think about that. I am becoming so much more sensitive to the words, right? And I'm a lyricist, a writer. And so download. You know what? I'm making a declaration within myself right now. Fuck that shit. It's not a download. It's an upload.
There you go. That's
because
it.
we are uploading information, real-time intel to the universe.
That's it.
So maybe we need to let upload sit in our field for a while, and then we'll figure out a word for the infinity sign, because that's really what we're embodying is that space between our physical and non-physical, right in between of the upload and the download.
Right, yes.
It's that space where there's it's mutual load or
it's like the silence, the bridge, the silence in between when we're speaking is that silence in between. That's so powerful.
Yeah. Soul powerful.
So powerful.
Soul powerful.
That's right.
That's what we're doing now. Even when we make up words, when we talk with each other.
Yeah.
It's just like, that's just, there's no other ways with the vocabulary, because that's one of the biggest things.
Soulicious. Soulish. I just saw Black Wolf. Oh, did I lose you? Oh, shoot. Are they gone or am I gone? Oh, you're back.
There we are.
Yeah, you're back.
We're back. Human words are becoming more and more challenging.
Yeah. So let's make up new ones.
I love it. Yes.
Dolly Daydream, she brought up the song "I Am Light" by India Arie. You ever hear that song?
Yes, it's
freaking incredible. My God,
song.
I had that CD when it came out, and it was incredible. Yeah, I feel better. Thank you for spending time with me.
Of
course, anytime.
I know I'm all over the place, and I just want to thank you for that, because I don't know what else to do. You're my sisters, Allison.
We are always here.
Yeah, you call us anytime.
Yeah,
message us funny memes,
and even if you
call us,
and even if you don't,
I'll prank call you. Yeah, I prank call you. That's no problem. I told you I'd be doing that, but no, really, I'd rather just do it on here.
Yeah, we could do that.
Because I don't know. I don't know. I'm just saying, I've noticed too that since Sedona, because we didn't have the shows every day for whatever, 3 weeks. We had stuff going on, but it wasn't our traditional stuff. So our typical, people that might watch or plug in weren't getting what they normally get. And so what I've noticed as we gotten back started, that the level of engagement per view is extremely high. So it doesn't normally if you get like 10% engagement from the viewership, you're doing really, really well. And most of our stuff is over 10. But since that happened, it's in the like 25% range. Now, that's not about Soulogy to me. Again, it's like Soulogy Fest wasn't about what we were talking about. It's what's happening. There's evidence of what's happening.
Yeah.
And I just, that's why I show up every day.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not giving up on anything I believe in. Nothing.
Yeah. There is no giving up.
Nope.
We can't go. There is no going backwards. I mean, it even sounds silly just saying it.
My phone's going crazy.
I see you're loved from everywhere.
I've been having some weird electronic stuff happening. And
all the time over here.
That's what we've been talking about all morning. Yeah.
Yeah, I would charge my phone just talking to both of them. My battery would drain by the time I get to work, and that's like 10-15 minutes. It would just drain. I keep it plugged in. I have 3 different types of earphones to hear the show because they drain right away.
Is that right?
Something, electronically, something's happening.
I've got some I need to give to somebody because, these here, I think they're pretty nice. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Because I can't fit them in my ears. My ears are weird. I'm from some planet where they don't fit.
Oh, you're talking because you have smaller ear canals, so you have to actually have them. I had the same thing.
Yeah.
I have the same thing. Yeah, I can't have certain.
You must be from the same planet. Somebody just put up, I think it was Pamela. I don't think she might have been citing the song, Ain't No Stopping Us Now. Remember that song?
Yeah.
Ain't no stopping us now. Isn't that how it went?
Yeah. Makes me want to just put on all the oldies because when as they say, the oldies were the goldies, right?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. You have to, you can find stuff now, but you've got to dig through the internet. 4:44 on the East Coast. That's the time we go by. 3:44 here. 1:44 where you're at.
That's right.
See, there's synchronicities in front of our face every single day, all the time. Read my comment about our electric field and draining our electronics. Okay, let me see if I can find it.
Well, that makes sense. That's what's happening.
Oh, wait. And Chris Hamilton had a dream this morning that you and I were in a room that had wood everywhere. Good God, what is going on here? Not cheap paneling, but real wood. We agreed that everything was too monochromatic. If you could tell there was a big built on the wall because it was made of the same wood as the wall. I suggested that we stain the wood and see if we can get the grain to stand out more, dress it up. And you pointed to all the hooks at the top, and you pulled out all these hats and started hanging them on the hooks. That's interesting. Like hanging up our mask, maybe? I don't know. Let me see if I can find Pamela's.
Well, hats can be as reviewed as changing roles. You're wearing different hats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the labels we give to ourselves.
Look, and if you think about what we do from a soul level, that's what we do. What's the difference between us going into an incarnation on a planet and, for all intents and purposes, assuming an identity or a set of identities? What's the difference? I mean, we're analyzing it. You know what I mean? And it's the same thing. I mean, okay, I don't see Pamela's comment anywhere. So obviously something, I do remember seeing something at the beginning where she was talking about some of the cosmic, galactic, atmospheric type of energy must be affecting everything.
And that's definitely coming in very strong. I mean, our soul brothers and sisters, I mean, they're ever since, I don't know, for me, ever since Sedona, it's just everything's magnified.
Right on.
I mean,
right on.
Yeah.
But not only that, but she came in back as a different person.
Who? Oh, we should have talked about that. I got another show in 13 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, we should have made more time. Yeah, I would love to hear about that. That would be great to hear about what your family, how your reassimilation. Okay, here we go. Allison says my voice is changing. It's a very deep. I don't see that. Earth's weak magnetosphere is allowing our physical bodies to receive electromagnetic juice. Is my voice getting lower? Is it?
No, I don't think it's that. We just pick up different tones in your voice.
Yeah.
Oh,
like even when I saw another show with Susanna Mara, I mentioned to her voice was different.
Yeah.
Just the level of the frequency of what she was speaking was different. So we noticed that.
Yeah.
I mean, the tone of the voice has difference.
Yeah, I get what Allison's saying. I do. Yeah. And it's got to be happening to more people as well. I would think because, and I do remember too, when I was a little kid, I remember I had this voice and it was a natural, and I'm talking about when I'm by myself and I might want to try to sing something or whatever, when I'm really immersing myself in my voice and the tonalities. I remember having a lot of experiences and having one voice. And I've actually played with that over the last few years, not really knowing what I know now or whatever. But I've noticed, in the last few weeks, even really right before Sedona, or right maybe when it happened, because it came out there. It came out there. And so that must be part of the physical creation. What we used to call manifestation.
Yeah.
Pamela's on her third phone in 4.5 years, and her PC died.
Oh.
Okay. All right. So pump up the volume. We need to have we will. Might have an open mic tonight. Depends on what happens this evening. So love you guys.
Well,
I appreciate you.
Thank
you for holding space.
So much.
We love you all.
Yes. And thank you for holding space for me and being who you are. And I love you. And we'll see everybody in 11 minutes with Keith Hill. I just invited him on a whim, and the synchronicities and the rhythms. So he's got really good energy. So we'll see what happens.
Okay.
All right. See y'all later.
All right,
Take
we love
care,
you,
everybody.
brother.
All right. Be
Bye-bye.
back.